Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on the Flash film, or movie, as some people would say. So we are entering the final run for the Flash movie in regards to its release. It's not coming out next week, but we're in definitely like the, oh, it's really close period, as well as the final run when it comes to the TV show's final episodes as well, with it pretty much just having a month left. You know, roughly, maybe a month and a couple of days. With the Flash film getting its first public screening at CinemaCon in the coming week as well. Probably like, what, 3 days, I think, from when this video will come out. It'll be getting its first official screening at CinemaCon, which is crazy. Now, it has been suggested that while the film is locked and completed with no changes coming now, the version of the film that will be played at CinemaCon will be a director's cut of sorts, with some spoilers being removed that Warner Brothers doesn't want leaking before the June release of the film. Now, that has not been confirmed. That's not like it's written, oh, by the way, this is not the proper movie that will be released in, you know, the middle of June. It's just being suggested, but this makes sense if there is some, you know, major cameos or reveals towards the end of the film that they don't want out there pretty much like, what, 2 months before the film is officially released. But then again, I don't know the process of CinemaCon in regards to exactly if they know exactly who is in the theater and, you know, they have like everyone's name written down, there's NDAs. I'm not too sure, because I think the movie they released last year there was Top Gun, and I don't know what the movie was like in the years prior, if they were anything as big or potentially spoilery as the Flash film, and they were like a comic book movie that could be spoiled and stuff like that. So I'm not too sure what the previous films were and the track record there, but from what is being said, it's going to be like a director's cut of sorts, and that's going to play out with some other preview screenings leading up to the actual release of the film. So they're not going to try and have spoilers out there too far ahead. But some new information has come out that doesn't really spoil, I guess, anything to do with the film and its story or surprises, but definitely shines a light on what might be coming our way come the middle of June when the film officially comes out. So we're going to be going over it in this video, of course. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts on this. I'm very curious to hear what you guys have to say and just your excitement levels for the Flash movie as a whole, because, you know, it hasn't been really that much official promo stuff since the trailer came out on the Super Bowl, but with this week coming out, there's a new trailer on the day of that screening as well. You'd expect after that point that there's more and more and more promo stuff, especially seeing that this is Warner Brothers' biggest movie of the year. So you'd expect them to be putting a lot of focus and advertising time onto it. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like on it as well. Always appreciate the support. So the first thing I want to go over is only real two things, and it's more just a discussion around it. So KC Walsh, he's a guy on Twitter who's pretty reliable. I've never really seen him tweet anything out. Look, I don't think he's got a 100% strike record. I think there's some stuff there, but no one ever is. But he's pretty consistent with it, and he never really does anything just for the clout. Like, there's no links to a website or anything like that. It's just stuff like that. So there's usually no like malicious intent there from anything he tweets out. And as I said, he has a pretty good strike record from what I've seen previously. So he did tweet out this, as you can see on screen. He goes, he has like a flash thing down the bottom, and he quote tweets his own tweet and goes, "Here is what I've heard. The film is complete." Now, that wasn't really news. I think this was confirmed like 2 weeks ago. I think even Andy Muschietti actually might have put it out that the film was complete, like locked. Like they had a picture lock. I think that's the term you use. So I don't think that's anything new. But here's like where the other interesting things happen. So he says, the ending is changed, but it's more vague. The cameo isn't what you think it is either. So the cameo he is referring to is what's been discussed, because they removed, like they've changed the ending, as he says there. But it was more because the ending was sort of meant to like lead into the next stage after that. And this was like pre-James Gunn coming in. So this was more like when Walter Hamada and stuff were there and what they were planning afterwards and what the Flash movie was going to use as like a bit of a soft reboot for what they wanted to do next. But that's not happening now with James Gunn. Or at least in regards to James Gunn isn't following those reboot plans. He's using his own reboot plans, and the Flash might lead into that as well. But the cameo that's been rumored is that it was like George Clooney's Batman. But what, you know, KC Walsh is suggesting here is that the cameo isn't exactly that. He's not saying it's not he's not George Clooney, but it's not exactly what you think it is either. It's going to be a bit different. Now, there were some other people trying to gain clout through just guessing what it was, and they were all disproved. They were all, like, people said, no, that's not what's happening. Like, multiple people came out. So people said that, like, Barry's arrested or something at the end of the movie, and that was just a lie. Like, that was just made up. So that's been disproved, I'm pretty sure. So it's nothing to do with that. Now, for me, I mean, I watched the George Clooney Batman and Robin when I was a kid. I don't really care too much if that's the cameo. I think that's almost like a wasted cameo. Like, I think yeah, I mean, I think you'd probably prefer, if they could, I guess, you'd get Christian Bale, but I think like the George Clooney, it just seems like a bit of a fun, jokey one rather than anything of any like over substance or like overly great substance. So some people will love it. I won't hate it. I know some people will hate it. I'm like in the middle. I'm like, I don't really care, but also I don't really care on either side. I'm fine with it, but also it doesn't really mean too much to me at the same time. But the next thing in regards to cameos is where it opens up a bit. So he then says Speed Force has cameos galore, including a CW connection and a Dream cameo. It'll be what everyone talks about. So this is interesting because I have to say this, I will say it right now. Someone asked, is it Grant? And he said, no, Grant isn't in it. Now, the issue with this is that I don't know how much is going to change from this point. Obviously, the film is complete, but they could like put stuff in and remove stuff. As I said, there's probably going to be director's cuts that have some of this stuff taken out in regards to previous screenings before the movie actually comes out. And when you think of a Dream cameo in a Flash movie, you think it would be Grant and Ezra. But what could it be? Now, the only thing I can think of when it goes, it's a Dream cameo, it'll be what everyone talks about. I mean, you have to think it's like an identifiable DC character. People know. And the only one I can think of, I said it before, is it Christian Bale's Batman? That's the only one I can think of if it's not Grant. Unless it's maybe like John Wesley Shipp's Flash from the 90s. But even then, would that be the same? I don't know. If you have any thoughts on that, let me know in the comment section down below. Because I mean, trying to think about it, and like a Dream cameo that everyone would be talking about. And I can't really think about it because a Dream cameo seems to me like one that's not in that universe, obviously, and it plays into the multiverse. So now that I'm trying, off the top of my head now, I'm thinking, I don't know, is it weird to think Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern? Is it weird to think of that? Like, I don't know what it would be if it's not something crazy like that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm very curious to hear what any suggestions people have. Now, in regards to the CW connection, you might be like, oh, that's Grant. Well, this is the thing. So another account, which I'm a bit iffy on this account. They seem to be like very hit or miss. I'd say they've probably got like a 50% strike record. Like some of the stuff I've seen them tweet out has been completely ridiculous, and then some of it has been completely accurate. And My Time to Shine Hello, which is mainly more accurate when it comes to the Marvel stuff. I think with the DC stuff, they take a lot of L's. But I just thought I'd mention this. They say that the CW connection, which is so random, it doesn't really make sense to me, is Teddy Sears's, not Zoom, but Jay Garrick. That to me was so weird. But the thing is, I guess you could make it that there could be like, this could be like another Earth that's very similar to Earth 2 pre-crisis that had a Jay Garrick that looked like Teddy Sears. Obviously, he poses as Jay Garrick on that Earth, and he's not really Jay Garrick. But maybe there's another Earth in the multiverse that replicates that, and he's actually not just Zoom in disguise. I don't know. That seems really crazy to me. But then again, maybe they wanted to have like that Jay Garrick element there. But then again, why not use John Wesley Shipp's version? I don't know. Really weird to me if that's the case. That's why I'm questioning it. To me, it just doesn't make sense, but it could make sense at the same time. I don't know. You have to let me know what your thoughts are on that in the comments. But I can see there being a bit of backlash if that's the CW connection that they use and not Grant Gustin. Because the thing is, I think I would be fine if they just reused the scene from Crisis. And that's what like Ezra Miller's Barry sees when running through the multiverse or the Speed Force. And that's what he sees. And he's just like, oh, he just sort of like, or like he has a flashback to it or something like that. Something along those lines. That to me makes more sense and seems like it'd be easier to do. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It's such a weird thing in my opinion. And the last thing that Casey Walsh notes is that the Zack Snyder's Justice League references appear to be removed. They say appear to be removed. I think like they were really minor references to like time travel anyway. So it wasn't like, I don't think there was like anything, oh, like he has a flashback like in his head to like Darkseid or something like that. So they were minor anyway. So I don't think it's that much of a loss. And at this point, like, I mean, is there really a reason to really tie back to that anyway? So I don't think that's much of a loss there. But yeah, as I said, we do have that CinemaCon screening in less than like in a handful of days. So it's going to be very interesting to see what comes out of that. Obviously, fingers crossed that it is that director's cut where any of those potential spoilers aren't there. But if that's the case, also remember if you get people coming out saying, oh, there was nothing in there, that's why, because they removed them. Like without saying specifically anything, I've been told that that's happening with certain things going forward into like the month before the movie comes out. but not necessarily straight up about CinemaCon. But I think they might do the same thing because they just don't want that stuff coming out that early, you know? So we'll wait and see. But yeah, like if there is word coming out from CinemaCon, like, oh, none of this cameo stuff happens. Oh, it feels like they removed stuff. That was intentional to contain spoilers. But I'm very intrigued to see what the general feel of the movie is at that screening. Also what the new trailer showcases that comes out the same day. And also maybe if Ezra Miller makes an appearance. That's going to be very curious. But we'll wait and see in regards to all of that. That's just a couple of days waiting and we'll find out. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various thoughts and everything we went over in this video. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.